everyone, my name is Leanne. I'm an Ontario certified teacher and I work for the Halton Hills Public Library as a bilingual associate. Bonjour tout le monde! I'm also a mother of 4 and I love to read with my kids. I love to read for my own enjoyment and I'm passionate about all things pertaining to the library, particularly about sharing the love of reading with everyone. Today I'm reflecting on the rapidly evolving and critically important role of teacher librarian. I consulted several resources on this topic and I will credit them throughout this reflection. They are also listed in full at the end of this presentation. First off, let me mention that I decided to choose this format because I think it nicely demonstrates the rapidly changing nature of both technology and the teacher librarian role. I also think it helps exemplify some of the important traits of a teacher librarian, such as being warm, friendly, and approachable. So what does a teacher librarian do? Danny, I love how you phrased it in the introduction to Module 2.1. Quote, being an effective teacher librarian means having a clear concept of the role, its depth and breadth, and a clear understanding of the role of the school library space, resources, and program in student learning. I guess that's why we're all taking this course, to gain that understanding and then to incorporate all that we will learn into what we do on the day-to-day. I love the role as it is described in the TDSB Expected Practices for Library and Learning Commons document. Quote, to expand curriculum experiences and improve student achievement, promote equity and access and accommodate students with varied learning strengths and needs, provide explicit instruction and inquiry and research skill development, foster a love for reading and provide opportunities for critical literacy, integrate effective use of new technologies and collaborative online tools into teaching and learning. There is also an important focus on classroom teachers and teacher librarians working together collaboratively. The Ontario Library Association's Exemplary School Library Study sums it up nicely when it outlines the key to a Level 3 Exemplary Library program as the, quote, teacher librarian's ability to be an effective teacher, providing educational support and leadership through partnering and collaboration, while finding opportunities for integration and cross-curricular connections. The role of teacher librarian is critical in all schools and has a far greater reach than might be immediately apparent. This is clearly a tall order. What are the most important parts of the job? After reading through the literature, I would say that collaboration, preparing students to be the skilled innovators of the future, and supporting board and school improvement plans, particularly initiatives that are digital or technical in nature, are the 3 most important parts of the job among many. I love the comment in the ALSC blog on the constantly evolving role of the teacher librarian that, quote, modern librarians are not just amazing collaborators themselves, they also teach students to be collaborative. One way they do this is by providing the space and support for students to work together. The quote on the screen shows the importance of collaboration to the teachers in schools with exemplary libraries. Quote, the other grade 6 teacher, myself, and the teacher librarian use the pronoun we when we talk so the students know we are a team. It's not her library, it's our library. With regards to preparing students for the future, the People for Education's report on school libraries explains that according to the Royal Bank of Canada's 2018 study, the Canadian economy is transitioning from a jobs economy to a skills economy, where young people will be expected to exercise digital fluency and navigate between various careers. And according to the ALSC blog on the constantly evolving role of the school librarian, individualized attention, as provided by school librarians, can empower students, encouraging student innovation, developing the next generation of makers. In reference to supporting digital and technical improvements, the Together for Learning document explains about multiple literacies. quote, new communication tools, emerging technologies, and social and cultural forces are constantly redefining what we mean by literacy. Learning to learn is a critical component of student success. I love these two infographics about having an inquiry or a growth mindset. Instead of a fixed mindset, it's important that we ourselves have a growth mindset first and foremost, so that through modeling, we can encourage our students to also think this way. Can we collaborate and take control of our own learning? Can we change our own self-talk and the way we speak of ourselves and our work to others? The shift starts with us. What are the most challenging parts of the job? Funding is a huge challenge that has been written about again and again. Hand in hand with a lack of funding is the fact that technology and the role itself is so rapidly evolving that it's difficult to keep up and to find the time necessary to accomplish all that is required. Policy and administrative support can be challenging as well. With regards to funding, LB's Learning blog explains that schools do not always prioritize funding to libraries and teacher librarians. And sadly, the decline in funding for libraries has far-reaching impacts on student performance and outcomes, including math and science grades, EQAO test scores, literacy and research skills, digital literacy, and post-secondary readiness. And in the Exemplary School Libraries in Ontario study, in both exemplary school libraries, funding the library was of primary importance. Each allocated the full school board allotment for books, where possible, taking advantage of additional grants. This is because the physical space itself was recognized as needing to be, quote, well organized, very comfortable, and inviting. And in the SoftLink blog's 7 Challenges for School Libraries Revisited, funding is related to 5 of the top 7 challenges identified by real school librarians. With regards to the challenge of rapid evolution, the Learning Together document explains that the structure of school learning was built more than a century before digital communication was developed. And since then, the structure has not changed significantly. It is no wonder that many students are finding it almost impossible to make meaningful connections between what they learn at school and what they need to know outside in the world. And in the Exemplary School Library study, lack of time and scheduling issues were the foremost concerns. With regards to policy and administration, the same study on exemplary schools explains that there is, quote, presently no provincial policy to ensure all schools have fully functioning libraries. And because funding for librarians is provided on a per pupil basis, small schools are much less likely to have teacher librarians. And of course, the current pandemic brings a whole new set of challenges to teacher librarians. For example, the People for Education report highlights that it is not clear if students and teachers are equipped with the infrastructure, tools, and strategies to learn successfully and teach effectively online. What makes me the most excited? I was very excited to learn so much about the shift towards the learning commons, and I love that teacher librarians are at the forefront of modern learning. Personally, I'll always be excited by the prospect of increasing reading engagement amongst children and people of all ages. In the Innovation That Sticks case study on YouTube, they explain that many schools are transforming their school libraries into a learning commons that integrates technology with the traditional library. In this way, the library can be a collaborative space where knowledge is co-created by both teachers and students. And in the video on the Learning Commons in BC, they describe it as a community gathering space that brings together programs, services, and technology. It's an exciting space that is both physical and virtual. It develops community and calls for more and more student involvement. As learners, we all have a lot more freedom in discovering our own answers and making our own questions. One teacher even brought in a Lego table, a train set, a dollhouse, and a medieval castle. And in the YouTube video of the Elizabeth Rummel School, they described the Learning Commons as a flexible space for out-of-the-box thinking. Their full-time teacher librarian is described as exploring innovations and, quote, a community intelligence cartographer who taps into the collective intelligence of the community. How great is that? In this way, teacher librarians are truly at the forefront of modern learning. I like how the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board describes modern learning as an increased level of digital fluency, a greater voice in what and how we are all learning, and an increased level of challenge in learning for all students. I recently did a survey of 105 French speakers in Halton Hills, and 59% indicated that they wanted STEAM programs for children, indicating that what families are turning to the library for is also changing. In the study of 2 exemplary school libraries in Ontario, the teacher librarians also brought outside resources into the library to improve learning opportunities for the students. In one school, there was a partnership with the local theater company that was linked to the curriculum. I just love how collaborative it is. And presently working for the public library, I think it would be great to have that level of collaboration with local teacher librarians. I'm also very excited to be a part of what the Halton Hills Public Library is doing, including the new collaborative spaces being built at our Acton branch. As a French speaker, I'm excited to see more bilingual resources and programs made available to French-speaking families and educators. And although the current pandemic presents very many challenges for us all, the upside has been the increase in innovation and collaboration seen in both school and public libraries. Increasing reading engagement amongst people of all ages, but especially children, is where my heart lies. As explained in Together for Learning, quote, when students are encouraged to pursue their own interests and passions and are free to choose from a rich collection within an inviting environment, they are motivated to read and their reading and depth of understanding improves. Finally, Danny, I love your suggestion to share the information about Canada School Library Day with our colleagues and teacher librarians. What a great way to recognize the important role of teacher librarians. All that they do, all that they aspire to accomplish, all the challenges they face and yet consistently overcome, and all the exciting work they are involved in.